If I was starting my YouTube channel over from scratch in 2025, this is exactly what I would do. Now, I've been making YouTube videos every single week for over 6 years now across multiple different channels, and I have learned a lot, both from my own mistakes and just looking and watching and learning to see what works. And I know that starting a channel can feel really overwhelming, but trust me, it is way easier than you think it is, and you are definitely overcomplicating it and overthinking it. So this video is going to get you out of your own head and posting videos on the platform. Starting a YouTube channel can feel incredibly overwhelming at first because it feels like there is a lot to learn. You don't know where to start, and there is a ton of information and advice out there about how to start a YouTube channel. So let's break it all down briefly, and then later I will go into more detail on choosing a niche and all the gear you need to start and things like that. Now, the first thing that I want to address though is all of the different information that is out there that you're likely consuming on how to start a YouTube channel, because there is a ton of good information out there, but a lot of it can be conflicting. And that does not mean that one person's advice is better than the others. It just means that there are a lot of different ways to succeed on YouTube, which is actually a good thing. Everyone's journey to success is going to look different on YouTube. So at some point you are going to need to stop consuming and just start creating. Make this the last YouTube video that you watch before you put out your very first YouTube video or your next YouTube video. Now, I'm going to be giving you a lot of practical advice in this video, and it may be different from the advice that you have already heard, but that is because that is what has worked for me. And if you never start working on your channel, you are never actually going to know what works for you. So just post one video at a time and learn as you go. The best creators are going to create more than they consume. So in terms of the gear that you need to get started, I will talk about that more in depth later. So for right now, I just want to say don't overcomplicate this part either. All you really need is a phone and a YouTube account. At the most basic materials, if you have a phone, if you have a YouTube account, that is all you need to get started. All of the other things later that we're going to talk about will help, but they're not essential if you cannot get them to start a YouTube channel. Like I said before, there isn't an exact roadmap to success, but there are some basics that are going to help you grow faster. Things like a name for your channel and your niche. And the good thing is, if you wanted to, you could just name your channel some variation of your name, like I have with mine. Or if you wanted to niche down to something super specific, like for example, gardening, you could name your channel something like Totally Simple Gardening. And if you're struggling to come up with a name, there are a lot of tools online that can help you come up with a YouTube channel name. If you just look them up on Google, like YouTube name generator, a bunch of different options will come up. You can find one that you like, and it will help you pick a YouTube channel name. But do not overcomplicate this process. It's really not that big of a deal. You can always change it later if you decide that you don't like it. For example, my YouTube channel used to be called Business Women Thrive, and I changed it to Sarah Marie Blog. It was super simple, did not matter that much, so just pick something and we can move on. For your niche or the topic of your channel, if you have a niche in mind, if you have something that you want to talk about, that's great. That's what I would start with. But for many people like me, they don't want to feel boxed into a niche. They don't want to specifically talk about one thing. And as a creative, I can completely understand why you wouldn't want to feel boxed in to only talk about one thing. And the good news is the YouTube landscape is changing, and you no longer need to talk about only one thing in order to be able to successfully grow a YouTube channel. However, you do need some sort of cohesion on your channel. There needs to be a point to every single video, and they need to be related or have a similar audience. For example, if you have a channel and you talk about gardening one day, fashion the next day, and video games the next day, that's probably not going to be a great channel for you. It's probably not going to grow you very quickly because there's a lot of different audiences there. You don't want to just put out random content and then wonder why you're not growing, because your YouTube subscribers or the people that are watching your videos that will turn into subscribers need to know why they're subscribing in the first place. So if you're watching a channel and one day they're giving political commentary and the next day they're playing Minecraft, you're probably going to be really confused and not want to subscribe to that channel. So you want to have just a little bit of cohesion, not necessarily a niche. So what you're going to do instead, if you don't want to pick a niche, is think about the audience. Think about the ideal person that is going to be watching your videos. What do they like to watch? What topics would they like to learn about? Or what type of entertainment would they like to watch, depending on whatever channel it is that you're thinking about doing? And how can you connect all of that together? You really want to keep your audience at the forefront of your mind when you are creating content, because those are the people that are going to turn into your subscribers and maybe even clients, customers, and your super fans, which is what we want. But you cannot forget yourself during this process. Think about, what do you enjoy talking about? Who do you want to reach? Who do you want to help? Because there has to be a balance between something that you enjoy and something that your audience enjoys. If you don't enjoy it, but your audience does, you're going to get burned out. And if you enjoy it, but an audience doesn't, then you're not going to have an audience to watch your content. So there's got to be a little bit of a balance. Now, the next thing that tends to overwhelm people is the equipment that you need to get started, which we talked a little bit about already. You don't necessarily need a whole ton, but if you do want to look to upgrade and just have a few things that I personally think would make having a YouTube channel easier, this is what I would recommend you have. Like a laptop. I personally like to edit on a laptop. I like to have a mouse where I can do a lot more fine-tuned edits. I feel like editing on a phone is just not my forte. I'm millennial here, where I like to do things on a big screen and not on the little screen. So if you have a laptop, it might be easier to edit your videos. However, they do have video editing softwares like CapCut, which is free, so you can still technically upload and edit on your phone. Although, if the TikTok ban does go through, CapCut is a part of the ByteDance lawsuit, and it did go away. I believe it's back up now, but it did go away. So we are gonna have to find a new editing software if TikTok does go away in, I think, April. So we'll see what's going on with that. But for now, CapCut is free. You can use it on your desktop. You can use it on your phone, and that's how you can edit your videos. The other thing that you might want to have, honestly, not even might, it is a must for me, is Canva. Canva is another thing that you can get on your phone. You can get it on your laptop. It is free. I personally have the paid version because I use it all the time, but you can get by with just the free version, and that's how you can add any graphics that you see on screen. That's where all of my stuff is done, and all of my thumbnails are edited in Canva as well. The other thing that I personally think would be beneficial is a tripod. Now, if you don't have any money to put towards a YouTube channel and you still want to put up YouTube videos, this is your new tripod, okay? Prop your phone up on one of these, grab some books, prop your phone up on that. I don't care what you have to use. If you don't have any money at all, you can still record YouTube videos. If you do want something like a tripod, which I personally think is a good option, but I understand people have a lot of things going on. They might not be able to afford one. This is the one that I have. And I love this one. It's not that expensive. It's on Amazon. And it's just, you hit this little button here, the legs pop out. And I don't remember exactly how many feet it goes up to, 5 foot something. It's not as tall as me. I'm 5'10". But like, this thing is pretty tall. And it goes 365 degrees. So you can put your phone in any angle that you want. This thing turns all the way around. It's great. I love this thing. I love how absolutely compact it is. The whole thing closes in on itself and closes up. So I will link this on Amazon down below if you do want something like this. It also has this remote, which I think is a nice feature, so that if you set up your tripod far away, you can hook this up with Bluetooth to your phone and you can hit record. Absolutely love it. I was using it for my short form content. The other option that you could choose is one that has a ring light. So like I said, I started out with a window light, which is literally meaning me sitting in front of a window and just using the light there. But if you like to record in the dark, like I do sometimes, because I record at all weird times of the day, you can get a tripod that has a ring light. Now, I just don't use a ring light. I had one originally, but I don't use a ring light because the way that the light would bounce off my glasses and would put that circle in there, I found that to be really annoying and distracting. So what I'm currently using is 2 soft boxes that are pointed up at the ceiling. Let me show you guys. Right there, because as you can see, if I do this, you can see all the light. I find that really obnoxious and distracting. And I didn't buy these. I literally asked for them for Christmas for 1 year. That's why I say you don't have to get started with all of the equipment that you need right now. You can just start with a window light, maybe a tripod. I will link the tripod that I have that has the ring light down below as well. I liked it, but I just didn't use it because of the glasses. Or there is another option for you. This one is what I got from the TikTok shop. It hooks right onto your phone. This thing is bright and it has multiple different settings. And you can turn it up and down in brightness. And it has multiple different settings. I love this thing. It's such a great quality. And then it also has the ability to be pointed upward so that when I have it on my phone, the harsh light in my glasses isn't there as much. And it has a little circle so that it can go over your front camera if you're using your front camera or your back camera. I don't remember what the name of it was. I do actually. Oh, it doesn't have a name on it or anything. I was gonna tell you guys what the name is. I'll link it from Amazon too if I can find this one as well. But yeah, there is no name or anything on it. I think I can find one of these on Amazon. So I will link those couple things down below if you want something, but if not, not a big deal. The next thing that you need to worry about, once you have your niche, you have your equipment, or you have your Kleenex box, whatever you're using to prop your phone up, you have something that works for now. What do you do next? Simply next, you start posting. I wouldn't worry too much about when you first start posting, getting everything perfect. In fact, don't worry about it at all. Do not put a lot of pressure on yourself to make things perfect because perfectionism breeds procrastination. Remember, we are just improving as we go. So just decide on your first video idea. I promise you it does not matter what it is. Set up the camera and record. If you want to prepare a little bit, you can give yourself a little bit of a script. It doesn't need to be fancy or really detailed unless you want it to be. I personally always have a script in front of me right here so that I know exactly what I'm saying. You can give yourself bullet points, something, you can go off the cuff, whatever you feel like doing, give yourself something, whatever you feel comfortable with, and just start recording. And if you're planning on doing a vlog for your first video, pick a day when you're going to be doing something interesting and make sure you have a plan for the day and what you're going to record. You don't really want to ramble in your videos. So if you're not going to do like a very detailed script, at least have some idea, some bullet points wrote down so that you know where you're going. And then if you're doing a vlog, you don't want to pick the most boring day of your life where you're just sitting on the couch scrolling through Instagram. So pick a day when you're going to be doing something interesting and then write almost like a mini itinerary for yourself. Doesn't have to be detailed, but just think about like, okay, what am I going to do today? What do I want to record? What would make an interesting video? So you're probably not going to record your trip to the DMV, but you might record yourself baking cookies. Very simple, but make sure you have some sort of plan would be a good idea. And then once you are done recording, it is time to edit. So pick whatever editing software you want. There's a ton of them. Like I said, does not matter. Stick with CapCut, DaVinci Resolve, something free, and keep the editing simple as well. Just do some simple jump cuts, which just basically means you cut out the awkward pauses or the places that you messed up in sentences. Don't worry about doing anything fancy unless you want to. If you want to add in some music and you don't think that's going to overwhelm you and make it so that you don't post the video, find some music, add it in. You can actually get free music from the back end of your YouTube studio. Use Canva, add in a couple words, as long as that's not going to prevent you from wanting to post the entire video. Once you get the hang of things though, then you can start adding in the real editing, little by little, transitions, words popping up, music, photos, B-roll, whatever. You can do that later. Probably not going to happen in your first video. Once the editing is done, you're going to need a thumbnail. Now for my thumbnails, I plan them out before I have even wrote the script, before I've even recorded. I have a little Google Doc that has all these questions that I ask myself when I am going to be recording YouTube videos or when I'm going to be writing them. And I ask myself, what is the concept for the thumbnail? And I think about what I want the thumbnail to look like. And then I kind of have an idea of what poses so that when I sit down to record, I can take a few pictures and then I will put that in Canva, choose the best one, and create the thumbnail from there. If you're going to be doing vlogs, either you can take some screen grabs from the YouTube video once it's done being edited and create the thumbnail from that, or what's probably the best idea is to think about throughout the day what you want the day to be about, what you want the thumbnail to look like, because for a vlog, you kind of want to show what's happening in the video. So set up your camera, take a still photo. That's probably going to be the best option instead of finding one after the fact in the video because it might be blurry. You might not find a good one, something like that. So I would, like if I'm doing cookies, I don't know why that's my example, but that is my example. If I'm doing cookies, I'm going to sit there and maybe pretend like I'm scooping up a cookie or something, and I'll take a screenshot of it and take a picture so that way I can use that for my video thumbnail, and it's like nice and staged and clean. You don't need to get too complicated with it though. My thumbnails when I first started were terrible. Like I had a pink background, blurry photos, awful text. They sucked, but they worked. And my very first video that I did, I knew that if I tried to come up with a thumbnail for the video, that it was going to take me a really long time to do. So I just didn't add a thumbnail. And you can do that too. Not the best option, but if it's your first video and you just want to get that one out of the way, when you upload the video to YouTube, they give you 3 options for thumbnails. They just screen grab something throughout the video. It's usually terrible pictures, but they work. And you can just put that up there. My video is still up there like that because I think it's a good example of not overcomplicating things and just getting a YouTube video out. And then the next ones I improved on. And now my thumbnails today look vastly different than they did before. So like I said, you're going to improve. Pick something. It doesn't matter what it is. Use it as a thumbnail and post it. And then the last step is to simply just upload your video. That is it. Export it from your editing software and import it into YouTube. You're going to need to add a few things in the back end, like adding a title, a description, maybe picking a playlist. Probably won't have one for your first video, but if you wanted to create a playlist, you could create a playlist, add it to that, and then add your thumbnail. Then you just got to either pick a time to schedule or post your video immediately, depending on what you want to do. And there's going to be a few other prompts for you to read, but most of them you can just ignore. So follow the prompts that YouTube gives you in the back end when you are uploading, and then just hit upload. And that's all you need to do. You can get really deep into YouTube, and there is so much more to YouTube success. This is really just scratching the surface, but you are going to learn that over time. You cannot keep consuming, you have to start creating. So for now, stick to the basics. And if you want to learn more about YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I post new videos every single week giving you helpful tips and tricks. Like this video if you like, and I will see you next time. Bye.